All right, so get this. We're diving deep into Pi Network today. They're making a big move to an open network. You sent over their YouTube announcement. And wow, this is major. It's been 6 years. They've been kind of under the radar this whole time.
Yeah. What's wild is this shift. It like opens the doors for Pi, to interact with other blockchains and traditional financial systems. It was like they've been in a bubble, and now the bubble is bursting.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So anyone tuning in who maybe isn't totally up to speed on Pi, their whole deal is making cryptocurrency accessible. They created this system where you mine Pi with your phone, no expensive mining rigs or anything crazy like that.
It's pretty unique, and they've gotten a huge following. They've spent the last 6 years focused on building a secure and stable platform, and it all led to this transition to the mainnet.
Right, and this mainnet thing, it's a big deal. Can you break that down for us a little? What does that actually mean?
Okay, so think of the mainnet as the live version of the Pi network. It's where all the real transactions happen. It's like going from a test environment to the real world.
Got it. So all those Pi coins people have been mining on their phones, those are ready for prime time.
That's the idea. But there's one really important step, KYC verification.
Oh, right. KYC, know your customer. It's about verifying users' identities, right?
Exactly. It's standard in finance to prevent things like fraud and money laundering.
Makes sense.
Pi network is serious with compliance, especially now that they're on the mainnet and going for wider adoption.
Okay, and speaking of adoption, they talked about this event in the announcement. Pi Fest 2024, it seems like this massive gathering of Pi enthusiasts with vendors and merchants already using Pi in the real world.
Yeah, it's impressive. 27,000 active vendors and 28,000 testing merchants from over 160 countries. That shows they're building something real.
Wow, that's a lot of countries. Okay, so now with this open network, things are getting more interesting. It's not just buying and selling within the Pi ecosystem anymore, right?
You got it. This open network, it connects Pi to the bigger financial world. It's like building bridges to other blockchains, payment systems, maybe even traditional financial institutions.
Wow. So you're saying you could use Pi to buy things from merchants who don't even know what Pi is?
Potentially, yeah. It depends on how well Pi integrates and how widely it's accepted. But this open network, it makes that kind of interoperability possible.
That's huge. So this open network, it's a big step towards decentralization too, right? The announcement mentioned something about open nodes.
You're right. Instead of a central authority, Pi network will be maintained by a network of open nodes. They're like independent computers all over the world working together to verify transactions and secure the network.
Oh, I see. So anyone can run a node then and contribute to the network?
Well, in theory, yes. But they've said that active Pi users will get priority, especially those who have finished their KYC. It's a way to reward early adopters and make sure the network is run by people who are invested.
That makes sense. And there's also that deadline, right? February 20, 2025, to finalize KYC and move to the mainnet.
Yeah, that deadline is key. It's like they're saying, get on board and get verified if you want to be a part of this.
So this is a huge moment for Pi. They've been building quietly for years, and now they're stepping onto the global stage. But are there any challenges? I mean, it can't all be smooth sailing, right?
You're right. This open network, it brings a whole new set of challenges. But before we get into those, let's take a closer look at the new mining model. After all, that's a big part of Pi's accessibility and how so many people got involved.
Okay, yeah. Let's unpack this new mining model. What's changed from the early days, when everyone was just tapping their phones to mine Pi?
Yeah, it's definitely not just about tapping anymore.
Right.
So yeah, the new model, it's definitely more complex. It's designed to reward users who actively contribute to Pi Network's growth and security.
So it's not really passive mining anymore?
Not so much, no. It's about engaging with the ecosystem.
I see. So what kind of activities are we talking about?
Well, running a node is key, like we talked about earlier. If you run a node, you contribute to the network's infrastructure, and you'll earn rewards for it. Remember, priority goes to those who've been active in the community and completed KYC.
Right. So you need to show you're committed. It's not just about having the technical skills.
Exactly. They want to make sure the network is in good hands. But there are other ways to earn Pi, too, like engaging with Pi apps, referring new users, participating in community events. Those can all boost your mining rate.
So it's kind of like you're rewarded for being a valuable member.
That's the idea. It's a shift away from that. Free Pi for everyone's model, and towards something that encourages real participation.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about the mainnet transition, KYC, the new mining model, and how important this open network is. But let's get practical. What's all this mean for someone who uses Pi? What should they be doing right now?
Well, first and foremost, complete your KYC and migrate to the mainnet. Don't forget that deadline, February 2025.
Right, got to get on board. But once you're on the mainnet, then what?
Well, start exploring those Pi-based apps. The more people use them, the stronger the Pi ecosystem becomes.
Okay.
It's your chance to see how Pi works in the real world.
What about spreading the word? Should Pi users be telling their friends and family to join?
Absolutely. Now that Pi is more accessible, with the open network, it's the perfect time to invite others.
Makes sense.
Imagine using Pi at your local stores. That's the kind of grassroots adoption Pi needs to succeed.
So it's about more than just holding onto your Pi and hoping it takes off.
Right. It's about building this ecosystem.
I get it.
The more people who understand and use Pi, the more valuable it could become.
Okay, so this deep dive wouldn't be complete without talking about the challenges. What are some of the hurdles Pi Network is facing as they enter this new phase? What do they need to overcome to really succeed?
Well, one major challenge is adoption. For Pi to be a truly usable currency, it needs to be accepted by merchants, integrated into payment systems, and used by everyday people. It's a chicken and egg situation.
Right, merchants won't use it unless people are using it. But people won't use it unless merchants accept it.
Exactly. So how do they break that cycle? That's where the community is so important. Pi users need to be advocates, showing the value of Pi and encouraging its use.
Like what they were doing at PiFest.
Yes, exactly. But they need to do it on a much larger scale.
So it's a grassroots movement.
You could say that. And Pi's community is huge, which is a big advantage. But they also need to work with developers to create easy-to-use apps and integrations that make Pi seamless and appealing.
Gotcha. Okay, so adoption is one hurdle. What else is there?
Competition. There are so many new crypto projects out there. Pi needs to stand out. It has to prove its value.
So what makes Pi unique in this sea of cryptocurrencies?
Well, its focus on accessibility is a big one. That mobile mining, it lets people get into crypto who might not have the resources or the technical knowledge to mine other coins.
Right.
And they're really focused on real-world use cases. Building an economy within the Pi network, that's another key difference.
Okay.
But they need to keep innovating to stay ahead of the game.
And then there's the whole regulatory landscape. Governments are still figuring out crypto.
Definitely, compliance is crucial. Pi's commitment to KYC and KYB verification shows they're serious about working within the rules.
Right.
But navigating those regulations can be tough.
So there are definitely challenges ahead, but also a lot of potential. It feels like Pi is at a turning point. What happens next will determine if they succeed or fail.
It's a pivotal moment for sure. They've built a strong foundation, and now they're stepping onto a much bigger stage. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
But this isn't just about Pi, is it?
No, it's not.
It's about a bigger trend in crypto.
Yeah.
This move towards more inclusive and user-friendly systems.
You're right. Pi's goal of creating a cryptocurrency for everyone, it resonates with a lot of people who are looking for alternatives to traditional finance.
And their move to an open network, could this encourage more interoperability in the crypto space?
It's definitely a possibility.
Breaking down those silos, allowing different blockchains to work together.
Yeah, that kind of interconnectivity could lead to a lot of innovation and make crypto even more useful.
Okay, I want to bring this back to our listener. They've been mining Pi, but they're also interested in the wider crypto world.
Right.
How does Pi fit into that bigger picture? What should they be thinking about?
That's a great question. It really depends on their goals and their risk tolerance, but let's break down some key things to consider. Well, diversification is always a good idea, in any investment strategy, and crypto is no different. It's great to be excited about Pi, but you got to remember, it's still pretty new and untested.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. It's smart to look at other cryptocurrencies too, understand their strengths and weaknesses, and build a diverse portfolio, one that matches your risk tolerance and what you're hoping to achieve.
That makes sense. But how do you even start evaluating all these different cryptos? It's kind of overwhelming.
It can be, yeah. Do your research, understand the tech behind each project, think about its use cases and its potential for growth. Look at the community and the development team.
Right.
There's a lot of info online, but you got to be careful and think critically.
Yeah. Not everything you read on the internet is true, especially with crypto.
Exactly. And watch out for anyone promising guaranteed returns or pushing you to invest in something you don't get. Crypto is high risk, high reward. Approach it with caution.
So find that balance between excitement and caution.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype.
It is, but you got to make smart decisions.
Okay.
And remember, things change fast in crypto. What's hot today might be gone tomorrow. You got to stay informed, adapt your strategy, and be ready for ups and downs.
So keep learning, basically.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-time thing.
No, it's an ongoing process.
Okay, so back to Pi, this open network thing. Could it impact the whole crypto world? Like, could this be a catalyst for bigger change?
It could, yeah. Pi's focus on accessibility and real-world use. That's a growing trend in crypto. People want things to be more user-friendly.
Right, and their focus on interoperability, connecting with other blockchains. Could that encourage other projects to do the same?
If Pi can bridge the gap between crypto and traditional finance, it could have a big impact and maybe lead to more mainstream adoption of crypto.
So it's not just about Pi being successful on its own. It's about how they could change finance as a whole.
Exactly. That's what makes this so interesting.
Yeah.
Whether Pi achieves all its goals or not, their journey will definitely influence the direction of crypto.
Well, we've covered a lot today. Pi's beginnings, their unique mining approach, this transition to an open network, the challenges and opportunities. It's clear that Pi is at a turning point,
It is.
and their story is part of a bigger shift in finance.
It's been a great deep dive. I think our listeners now understand Pi Network better, where it fits in the crypto world, and what to think about as they explore this space.
Absolutely. And as always, we encourage our listeners to keep researching, stay informed, and make choices that align with their financial goals.
Yeah, knowledge is power, and in crypto, that power is more accessible than ever.
So that's it for our deep dive into Pi Network's open network launch. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay open to the possibilities. The 32 Eyes.